We know the double didn't exactly go as planned for the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Larson. Unfortunately, Mother Nature forced a delayed start to the Indianapolis 500, but Larson stayed to compete in the race, completing all 200 laps and 500 miles to finish 18th. He tried to make it to Charlotte Motor Speedway after the Coca-Cola 600 got underway during the Indy 500. In another case of bad luck, Larson arrived at the track right before it started raining and never got to compete a single lap in NASCAR's longest race. According to an article written by Bruce Martin from NBC Sports, Larson said instead of enjoying his first Indy 500, he felt guilty because he felt like he had let down a lot of people. Larson added that race day sucked and he didn't enjoy any of it due to how the weather played a role in his double attempt falling flat on its face. However, he added that he would love to do this again someday, but it might take some convincing next time given how things didn't go as planned. As the Indy 500 victory celebration banquet on Monday night, Larson was awarded Indy 500 Rookie of the Year, despite Christian Rasmussen being the highest finished rookie in 12th place. When Vidas VK got up on the stage, he said he respected Larson, but in his eyes, the real Rookie of the Year was his Ed Carpenter racing teammate Rasmussen. Link to this article is in the video description below and the photo taken by Paul Hurley from Penske Entertainment. I want to say right now, I agree. Kyle Larson may have done an exciting performance with qualifying, but Rasmussen did some stellar moves in that 500 as well. And he too led laps the same as Kyle Larson. So, boys, were you surprised to hear Larson admit he wasn't in the right mindset on race day? And do you feel he deserves the Rookie of the Year?
Christian Rasmussen becoming captain excitement in the IndyCar paddock over the last few races. Much like the Alonso Rookie of the Year when he got it and Ed Jones finished on the podium and probably should have been awarded with that honour, but hey-ho. Larson, yeah, I mean, what a disappointment really that we had all of that delay, and every time he got in front of a camera on Friday or Sunday, that was all the talk was of the weather and can you make it and etc. etc. And I just, after a while, surely that's got to grate on you and grind you down. And then of course we did get the delay, and then he doesn't get to Charlotte on time, even though that race looked like it was going to be held for a little while. It didn't quite work out, and then he doesn't get to run at all. He says he wants to come back and do it again. Well, sounds like it's a 2-year deal, is what we've heard over during that delay on Sunday. There was a lot of Twitterage or postage or Xage or whatever we want to call it nowadays going on that it wasn't just this year. It's he's got more attempts at it, and you know, to get to the Fast Six as a rookie, it not just at Indianapolis but in IndyCar is, you know, that's a very, very special moment for him. He should take some heart in that. I think once he looks back on it over the next couple of weeks, or even at the end of the season, then he might change his feelings on it a little bit. But just a shame that he didn't much like my attempt at doing the double on Sunday, didn't quite see it all the way through for delays and whatever else. But shame. I'm sure if he gets a chance to come back, he'll perhaps do some things differently and even go even better than he did at the weekend, because I think he did a great job.
I think he did a great job too, especially what he did in qualifying. But, you know, when I think this is something he could definitely lean a little bit more on, maybe like Tony Stewart or like a Robbie Gordon, who has done this multiple times. You know, what did you learn from that first year that you applied to that second year to be better in the double? And I think Larson will come back strong. And if he does, and now I'm not sure about the terms of the deal, if like the second year is an option or if he's contractually obligated to it. It kind of sounded like Larson was sort of hoping that he would get that second year. So I think it's a little more of an option. I'm not 100% sure, but I totally understand why his mindset wasn't there, because I mean, these Cup drivers go through such a strict and tough regimen week in and week out. And especially for the Coca-Cola 600, where you have to really be in it. I mean, 400 laps, 600 miles to be able to succeed in that race. And I think just with the weather and, you know, how dedicated he is to his guys. I mean, you saw it in that tweet where he was just absolutely disappointed. Like, just just having that split focus again with all these circumstances, I think just really kind of threw him off. And you even saw it like toward the end of the race where, he had that speeding penalty with coming into pit road really hot. I am happy he was acknowledged for his efforts, but I'm like you, Matt. Like I saw what Christian Rasmussen did during the Indy 500. I mean, it was great that Larson qualified well, but Rasmussen definitely was more deserving of the race rookie of the year honors. He had a stellar performance.
I'm still recovering from everything. I am not doing that double again. That was too much as well.
Yeah.
I think, what was it? I thought, I'll get to bed around about 4 a.m., after being up since 12:55 a.m. Sunday, get to bed 4 a.m. Monday, and then 2-hour rain delay after waiting 5 hours for the IndyCar. Oh my God, I wanted it to end so bad as well. But you can literally see me getting worse and worse at the end of the NASCAR broadcast as well. Yeah, I end up with pull tie, suit off. It's going like, it's over. It's actually over. I did not want to see that again. I'm still paying for it with my voice and my jaw still a bit locked up as well. And I've got work this weekend. So a quick follow-up question to that as well. So it sounds like it's a 2-year deal. So if Larson does attempt the double again, and the question is, if we see a similar situation with the weather, would Charlotte likely be the priority next time over Indy? And do you anticipate NASCAR granting him a waiver to remain playoff eligible? And hello to Jackson as well. Congratulations on your graduation, Jackson, by the way.
Man, yeah, congratulations, Jackson. That's awesome. That's cool. Sorry, I was kind of in like getting into like thinking of this question, like yeah, congratulations. Next year, I think there's still a focus on Indy, with how big of a deal it is for a NASCAR driver to run Indianapolis and prove his talent. And I think next year there's a lot more to prove because Larson had some errors in the race. He ran a great race, but he had some errors, with the restarts, with the speed penalty. I think that just comes with learning in time. And I think next year there's going to be more of a motivation for him and for Hendrick Motorsports to, go out and prove that like the NASCAR guys can really take on Indy. Also, I think another thing that'll really influence whether or not Charlotte is prioritized or Indy is prioritized is if Hendrick Motorsports, if Kyle Larson wins the regular season championship, because going into the Coca-Cola 600, he had a 30-point lead, going into it. And now I think he was 4 or 5. I haven't looked exactly at how many points it is, but he's 4 or 5 points behind now. It's not much, but that's a big deal, in terms of the championship and playoff points and things like that. So we'll just have to wait and see.
I think you have to look at if it's next year or the year after or whenever it is. Much like this year, if he starts the Cup season well and gets some wins on the board, like he has done this year, then it's kind of that's done and dusted. You're in the playoffs, whether you win the regular season championship or not. This isn't some pickup race at Irwindale or Bowman Gray or somewhere. This is the Indianapolis 500, one of the oldest motorsport races, the most spectacular motorsport race in the world. It isn't just some club event somewhere in the back end of wherever. This is a big deal. And it got a lot of, the viewing figures are up for the race, even with the delay on Sunday through NBC. There was so much. Even when it was announced, there was so much groundswell of support for this. Obviously, it's been a while since Kurt Busch attempted it a few years back, but all that waiver chat that was going on over the weekend was just a little bit mind-numbing for me. Thankfully, it's done and away with, and we can, for Kyle's sake, focus on Gateway this weekend, where we obviously go try and get some of those points back that he gained. It was a shame for him, not to get there and at least run some of the race, even if he got in and done 30 laps or whatever before the rain came. It would have been nice to have seen him in and do both. Jackson says, to respect to Charlotte, it's a top 3 NASCAR race versus a top 3 global event. Exactly. The biggest single day sporting event in the world it is not just for £50 or dollars in some saloon car race at Willowbank or somewhere like that.
Yeah, on the whole waiver thing, absolutely, you got to grant it.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I'm sick of all the hearing as like, oh well, he's done this. If anything, he's brought attention to NASCAR globally.
Yeah,
That's the thing. NASCAR may be more popular than IndyCar over in the States, but IndyCar is more popular globally than NASCAR is. So it's a weird juxtaposition here. But Larson has now put, especially here in the UK, you've got a lot of people now tuning in. I know for a fact that the Coca-Cola 600 was a higher viewer rate than the previous races that it is on what is now it's now Premier Sports. Yeah,
yeah.
It had higher viewers because everyone who tuned in for the Sky F1 coverage of Indy 500 saw Kyle Larson and thought, will he get there in time? Will he do the double? Let's go over and have a look. And that's on a pay channel as well, a different pay channel.
At 1 a.m. our time.
Yeah, believe me, that wasn't good. So it works. So the crossover event worked, and I hope it worked around the world as well. Jackson says, and it's not like Larson didn't do anything in his power to make Charlotte happen.
Absolutely.
He got there, he got his balaclava on, he's got his helmet on. They were bringing the car down pit lane, and as soon as he got his helmet on, they red flagged it. That was the point.
And he wasn't even going to earn driver points for it because Justin Allgaier started the race. Like, he had nothing to gain besides going through the field. And, I mean, obviously earning his team points, but yeah.
Yeah, it would have been just to get the laps in. As well. I think that would have been brilliant. And there's a lot more that's going to be going around on that one as well when we get ready. But another one this weekend. Well, Jonathan, we're going to let you go now at the end of the NASCAR segment as well. I hope you are well, my friend, and hope to have you back here very, very soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Real quick, want to say happy birthday to the Chief over in my corner here. I'll get a quick full screen. Let's see here.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Happy birthday to the Chief, Noel Gallagher, Oasis. There, got a 2-vial record. So thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, Jonathan, as well. Thank you for coming on. And happy birthday as well. We couldn't not. We were talking about it before we come on here. I thought that was what you noticed. So the 2 vinyls in the background. How wonderful it is.